Boy X, page 271. 1 hour and 23 minutes later, somewhere off the west coast of Costa Rica. The Black Hawk helicopter skimmed exactly 100 feet above the waves as it flew out across the Pacific Ocean toward Isla Negra. Modifications to its design meant that it was one of a kind. The engines ran quieter than any known helicopter, and it was equipped with stealth technology and terrain-following radar that enabled low-level flying. It was undetectable, a ghost that was able to deliver swift and violent destruction from its Hydra rocket pods, Hellfire missiles, and dual miniguns. Inside the cockpit, the co-pilot watched the screen in the center of the instrument array, then looked up at the white-crested sea. "Continue on this heading." He spoke into his headset without looking at the pilot. "We'll reach in 1 minute." "Copy that." The pilot took the helicopter lower and glanced at the screen. It showed an image of the area they were flying over, with the north tip of Isla Negra just visible. About half a mile from the shore, in the expanse of the Pacific Ocean, a single green dot pulsed silently. At the bottom of the screen was displayed the heartbeat, blood pressure, respiratory rate, temperature, and blood sugar levels of the owner of the green dot. "Coming up on it now," the co-pilot spoke once more. 22nd. He watched the screen, and mark. The pilot slowed the helicopter and settled it into a quiet hover, descending close to the surface of the water. When he had reached the lowest safe height, he spoke into his headset. "Ready for pickup?" "On your order," came the reply from the rear cabin of the helicopter. "Execute." In the rear cabin, one soldier drew back the door while another stepped forward and out. Harnessed and attached to a winch, he dropped quickly to the surface of the water, where a slender man floated, clinging to a piece of wreckage from a boat named Olympian. His clothing was torn and singed, his hair was completely burned away, and one side of his face was scorched and bleeding. The soldier clipped the slender man to his own harness and spoke into the headset. "Bring us up." Once aboard the Black Hawk, a medic was standing by with a syringe in one hand. He had been monitoring the slender man's vital signals and already knew what emergency treatment would keep him alive. Exactly 30 seconds after receiving an injection, Lathan Thorne opened his left eye and took a deep breath. His whole body was racked with pain. The leg was bad, but his face was worse. When he had been blown out of the helicopter by the Hex 13 explosion, the blast had almost melted the right side of his face, sealing his right eye shut. He looked up at the medic, then at the soldiers sitting on either side of the rear cabin. 4 men to his left, 4 to his right, each of them armed with an FN SCAR MK-17 assault rifle. "Orders?" A face came into view, leaning over. Lathan Thorne watched the team leader for a moment, but when he tried to speak, only the left side of his mouth would open. He took a moment to compose himself, then tried again. "Biosphere," he said, "center of the island. All survivors to be taken alive." "Copy that." The team leader relayed the information to the pilot, and then the helicopter began heading south. Flying at 200 knots, the Black Hawk took only a matter of minutes to cover the distance that Ash and Isabel had covered in hours. When the biosphere was in sight, the pilot slowed and descended into the clearing, close to the wreck of another, less impressive helicopter. Before it had touched the ground, the doors were open and soldiers were jumping down, moving into formation as they approached and entered the building. 2 stayed on board, stationed at the miniguns. Lathan Thorne remained on board too, unable to move, but at least the pain was beginning to subside. "The painkillers will work for a while," the medic told him, "but we need to get you back ASAP. The longer we wait, the less we can do." "Keep waiting." "Yes, sir." 11 minutes after entering the biosphere, the team of elite soldiers returned, weapons held at ease. "It's empty, sir," the team leader reported his findings. 4 security guards who've been dead at least a day, a scientist. "No women?" "No one else." "Children?" "No, sir. Not a soul. The place is a ghost ship. There's nothing here. Lathan Thorne closed his good eye, and for the first time in years he felt rage. Pulse racing, thought scrambling, rage. In a lifetime of service to the broker, he had never failed. Never. And he would not begin now. This was not over. He would survive his injuries. He would heal, and then he would find Ash McCarthy. There was nowhere on earth the boy would be able to hide from him. "Order, sir?" the team leader asked. Thorne opened his eye and looked at him. "Take me home. I have a job to finish." And that is the conclusion of Boy X. I hope you enjoyed the story.